Are you sitting there right now staring at your phone waiting for a message that won't come? Maybe you've already checked. Maybe you've checked 10 times. Maybe you've even typed something out, then deleted it, then typed it again, and deleted it again. Sound familiar? Because if you're watching this video, I already know something about you. I know that somewhere along the way, you gave your heart to someone who pulls away when things get real. Someone who goes silent just when you need them most. Someone who makes you feel like you have to earn their presence, like love is something you have to fight for. And right now, you are stuck in the worst kind of limbo, the waiting zone. The invisible space where you're asking yourself 1,000 questions and getting zero answers. Did I say too much? Did I come on too strong? Was I not enough? Was I too much? Did I do something wrong? Did they ever even care at all? Your mind is spinning. Your chest feels heavy, and the silence, that deafening silence, is louder than any words could ever be. I need you to hear something right now, and I need you to really let it sink in. You are not broken. You are not needy. You are not too much. You are a human being with a heart that feels deeply, and that is one of the most beautiful things about you. Not a weakness, never a weakness. But here's what I also need you to understand. This moment, this exact moment you're in right now, is not the end of your story. This is the beginning. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something that most people in your situation never discover. A shift so powerful that it changes everything. Not just with this person, but with every relationship you will ever have from this point forward. And the best part? You don't have to chase. You don't have to beg. You don't have to wait by your phone like it's a lifeline. You just have to do one thing. One thing that most people completely misunderstood. One thing that sounds completely counterintuitive to everything your emotions are telling you right now. I'm going to explain exactly what that one thing is, and why it works so deeply on the psychology of people who pull away. But more importantly, I'm going to show you how to become the kind of person who no longer needs anyone to choose them, because you choose yourself first. Because when you get this right, something magical happens. The person who pulled away starts looking at you differently, not because you begged them to, but because you stopped needing them to stay. And if they never come back at all, you win anyway, because by the end of this video, you will have built something inside yourself that no one can take away. A foundation so strong that any absence becomes just noise in the background of your peace. So stay with me until the end. Not because I want your watch time, but because what I'm about to share with you could be the thing that finally sets you free from this cycle forever. Your heart is ready, your mind is ready. Let's begin. Now let me explain something that will change the way you see everything. Before you can fix anything, you need to understand what you're actually dealing with. Because right now, your mind is trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing, and that confusion is keeping you trapped. What you are facing is not a simple breakup. What you are facing is a psychological pattern, one that runs deep in certain personalities, and once you see it clearly, you will stop blaming yourself. You will stop chasing ghosts. You will finally see the full picture. Here is what you need to understand about the person who pulled away from you. This is not about you, not really. There is something deep inside them that activates the moment things start to feel real. The moment intimacy gets deep, the moment someone gets close enough to truly matter, something inside them whispers a warning, and that warning says, if you let this person in completely, you will lose yourself. Now listen carefully, because this is where most people get it completely wrong. When they pull away, it does not mean they don't care. It means they care too much, and that scares them. They feel themselves falling into something real, and every instinct they have tells them to run before it consumes them. They have trained themselves to associate closeness with losing control, and instead of facing that fear, they choose silence. This is called avoidant attachment, and it is one of the most painful patterns for the person left behind to experience. Why? Because you are sitting there reading meaning into their absence. You are analyzing every silence like it contains a secret message. You are waiting for a text, a call, anything, trying to decode what went wrong. And the worst part? There is nothing to decode. They pulled away because they are afraid of the depth they felt with you. Not because you did something terrible, not because you are unworthy, but because their heart has a wall built around it that they don't know how to take down. And this is exactly why your silence feels so loud right now. Because you are an open-hearted person. You feel deeply. You connect deeply. When you love someone, you give them everything. And when that love suddenly disappears without explanation, your mind goes into overdrive trying to understand why. But here's the trap you need to break free from right now. You are trying to solve a problem from inside the problem. You are using your emotional mind to analyze their defensive mind. And that mismatch is driving you crazy. You would never abandon someone you love without explanation. So you keep trying to figure out why they did what they did to you. But the answer has nothing to do with logic. It has everything to do with their own internal battles that existed long before you ever came into their life. This is why chasing them never works, because every time you reach out with your open heart, it triggers their fear even more. Every message you send says, "I need you, I want you, please come back." And every time they see that need, it confirms to them that they made the right decision to run, not because you are wrong for wanting connection, but because their nervous system interprets need as danger. Your pain is real. Your confusion is valid, and the heaviness you feel in your chest right now is the weight of something you did not cause and cannot fix by force. But here is where I need you to shift your focus completely. Stop looking at them. Start looking at yourself, because the real question is not why they left. The real question is, what are you becoming while you wait for them to decide if you matter? That is the question that will save you. And that is the question I'm going to help you answer in the section coming up next. I want to pause for a moment and speak directly to what you are carrying right now. Not the theory, not the psychology, just you, just your heart, just the weight you have been holding alone for days or weeks or maybe even longer. I see you. And more importantly, I want you to understand that what you are feeling is not weakness. It is not desperation. It is not something to be ashamed of. What you are feeling is the natural response of a person who loves with everything they have. And that makes you brave, even if right now you do not feel brave at all. Because let me tell you what this kind of pain actually looks like from the inside. It looks like checking your phone first thing in the morning before your eyes are even fully open. It looks like reading old conversations over and over again, searching for clues you might have missed. It looks like pretending you are okay when someone asks how you are doing, while inside your chest is burning with questions that have no answers. It looks like replaying the last moment you shared with them and trying to figure out exactly where things went wrong. It looks like wanting to reach out so badly that your hands actually shake, but holding back because you do not want to seem like you are begging. It looks like crying in private, but appearing in public. It looks like going to sleep hoping and waking up disappointed. It looks like a heart that is full of love with nowhere to put it, and it is exhausting. It is draining. It is like running a race with no finish line in sight. I know you have told yourself to stop. I know you have tried to move on. I know part of you even hates yourself for still caring after everything they put you through. But hear me now, that self-judgment is the cruelest thing you could do to yourself right now. You are not weak for still wanting answers. You are not foolish for having loved someone fully. You are a human being who opened your heart to another human being, and that act of vulnerability is one of the most powerful things you will ever do in your lifetime. Never let anyone make you feel small for that. And I know there is a voice inside your head that keeps saying, "Why am I not enough? Why did they leave me? What did I do wrong?" Let me answer that question right now with absolute clarity. Nothing. You did nothing wrong. You showed up with honesty. You showed up with loyalty. You showed up with a heart that chose them even when things got hard. And if that was not enough for them, that is not your failure. That is their limitation, their fear, their inability to receive what you are offering. But I also need you to hear something else, something equally important. You deserve someone who does not go silent when things get real. You deserve someone who leans into the connection instead of running from it. You deserve someone who sees your heart and decides to stay, not because you chase them, but because they could not imagine being anywhere else. And I need you to hold on to that truth with both hands, because right now in this moment, your self-worth is fragile. You are questioning everything, and the silence from that person has somehow convinced you that you are not worth fighting for. That lie ends today. You are not too difficult to love. You are not too emotional. You are not asking for too much. You are asking for basic human decency and consistency. And that is not a high standard. That is the minimum. So, before we move forward, I want you to do something. I want you to put your hand on your chest right now and acknowledge what you have been carrying alone. Tell yourself, my pain is valid, my feelings matter, and I refuse to abandon myself the way others have. Say that to yourself. Mean it. Because the moment you stop betraying your own heart is the moment everything begins to change. Okay, we have acknowledged your pain, we have validated your confusion, we have held space for everything you have been carrying alone. But now it is time to move, because staying in that space of acknowledgement without taking action will only keep you stuck. And you did not come here to feel temporarily understood. You came here to feel permanently free. So let me introduce you to something that will sound completely backwards, something your emotions are screaming against right now, something that goes against every instinct telling you to reach out, to fix this, to fight for what you lost. Here it is. Stop trying. Not because you do not care, but because the way you have been trying is actually working against you. And I am going to show you exactly why and what to do instead. Think about this for a moment. When you chase someone who has pulled away, what are you communicating to them without even saying it? You are communicating that you need them to feel okay, that their presence determines your emotional state, that without them, something inside you is incomplete. Now, here is what that does to them psychologically. The moment they sense that neediness, something inside them confirms everything they were afraid of. They see someone who is not whole without them. They see someone pouring their entire identity into a connection, and instead of being moved closer, they feel pushed further away. Not because your love is wrong, but because your desperation broadcasts a message that their fear interprets as danger. The more you chase, the more they retreat. The more you explain yourself, the more you beguile. The more you try to prove you are worth staying for, the less interested they become in staying. This is not your fault. This is just how the psychological dynamic works when one person is anchored and the other is running. And I know this hurts to hear, because part of you has been telling yourself, if I just say the right thing, if I just wait long enough, if I just show them how much I care, they will come back. But that story keeps you trapped in a loop that never actually leads to the outcome you want. Here is the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. The version of you that is chasing right now is not the version of you that they fell in love with in the beginning. In the beginning, you were whole, you were confident, you had your own life, your own joy, your own identity outside of them. And that energy of a person who does not need anyone but chooses someone anyway, that is what made you magnetic to them in the first place. So, what happened? Life happened, connection happened. You fell so deep that you started centering your world around them. And that shift, that subtle but powerful shift from whole to dependent, is exactly what triggers their escape instinct. Now, I want you to hear this next part very carefully because this is the turning point. You cannot control whether they come back. You never could. That was never in your hands. But what is in your hands, what has always been in your hands, is who you become while you wait. And that version of you will determine everything about how this story ends. If you keep chasing, you will continue to shrink. You will lose yourself piece by piece until there is nothing left but a desperate person begging for scraps of attention from someone who gave you up without hesitation. But if you choose differently, if you decide right now that you will no longer abandon yourself while waiting for someone else to choose you, everything begins to shift. You stop losing energy to people who did not fight for you. You start redirecting that energy back into your own life. And slowly but surely, you begin to transform into someone who does not need anyone to complete them. Someone who radiates quiet strength without saying a single word. Someone who becomes so grounded in their own worth that the absence of someone else no longer registers as a threat. That version of you is not just more attractive to the person who left. That version of you is more attractive to everyone around you, including yourself. So, the question is not whether they will come back. The question is, who are you deciding to be starting from this very moment? Choose yourself, choose growth, choose peace, and watch what happens next.